Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC 271, and in the featured fight on the main card, we have a very important middleweight fight between Cannonier and Derek Brunson, and this video is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. I've already done a prediction video for the main event, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2, as well as the co-main event, Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. I will link both those prediction videos down in the description, as well as the end cards, if you want to check them out after this video. And guys, do me a favor, if you enjoy these prediction videos, make sure to like the video. So if you look at the tail of the tape for this fight, you have Cannonier, who's currently ranked number 3 in the UFC official rankings. You have Derek Brunson, who's ranked number 4. You have Cannonier, who is 37 years old. Derek Brunson, who is 38. Cannonier is 5'11", Derek Brunson is 6'1". Cannonier has a 77.5-inch reach, and Brunson has a 77-inch reach. So very similar statistics for both guys, similar height and similar reach. Both guys older, and this fight is so important because if Israel Adesanya wins on Saturday, then the division is kind of out of contenders. And Cannonier is one of the few guys who have not fought Israel Adesanya yet, so he could earn a title shot with this fight. Derek Brunson has fought him before, but it's been a while, and then he would probably be on like a 6-fight win streak at that point. So there's a chance one of these guys could get a title shot after this fight with an impressive win at UFC 271. So super important fight to the middleweight division, depending on what happens in that main event. So if you look at Cannonier is a guy who originally fought at heavyweight. He actually has a loss to Sean Jordan all the way back in 2015. He then moved down to light heavyweight. He didn't really have a lot of success there. He lost to Glover Teixeira. He lost to Jan Blachowicz. He lost to Dominic Reyes by TKO. But then when he moved to middleweight in the UFC, he had a lot of success. He beat David Branch by TKO. And a lot of you guys I know probably don't know who David Branch is. Had a lot of success in World Series of Fighting when it was there. He was the middleweight champion there. Solid win from Cannonier. Then he defeated Anderson Silva. Now, I don't rank this win very high, and I know Cannonier deserved to win this fight, and Cannonier has nasty, heavy leg kicks, but it was kind of an injury. He kicked Anderson Silva's leg. Anderson Silva's leg gave out, and I know Cannonier did what he did to win, but it just happened so early in the fight. It was like 10 seconds into the fight, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm misremembering. Somebody can correct me. Nothing really happened other than the one leg kick. And that's why I kind of thought, either way, you can't take very much from this win over Anderson Silva and an out-of-prime Anderson Silva as that. Then one of the best wins on his resume, Jack Hermanson, back in September of 2019. This fight answered a lot of questions. He was taken down by Jack Hermanson early. He was able to scramble back to his feet. Eventually, in the second round, he catches Jack Hermanson with a nasty uppercut, drops him, and then finishes him off with some brutal ground and pound, and he really picked his shots. And I've talked about it before. There's a lot of guys who will kind of, once they hurt a guy, they will kind of wade in with these crazy ground and pound punches, miss a lot of them. Cannonier has heavy ground and pound, and he picks his shots. He's very accurate with his ground and pound. Then he fought Robert Whittaker at UFC 254, October of 2020, and this fight was a #1 contender fight. The winner of this fight was getting the next middleweight title shot. It ended up not working out that way. Robert Whittaker went on to fight Kelvin Gastelum afterwards. But going into this fight, everyone knew, okay, the winner of this fight's probably fighting for the title next. Not a lot of people expected Israel Adesanya to go up to light heavyweight. And he lost this fight against Robert Whittaker, and he got outclassed in this fight. It wasn't a brutal beatdown by Robert Whittaker. Cannonier had some moments. He rocked Whittaker in the third round, but didn't really come super close to finishing him. He was able to kick Robert Whittaker's legs the whole fight with those brutal heavy kicks, but he ends up losing the fight. I think it was 30-27, final decision, unanimous decision. And then his most recent fight in August of 2021, I almost said August of this year, but August of last year, 2021, he fought Kelvin Gastelum and defeated Kelvin Gastelum via unanimous decision. And this was a solid win. I'm still a big believer in Kelvin Gastelum. I know a lot of people want to trash Kelvin Gastelum nowadays, but I still think he's one of the best middleweights in the world. This was a very close fight, and Cannonier gets the decision. He beats Kelvin Gastelum, outstrikes him, lands the heavier shots, and ends up winning the fight. I actually think this fight was razor close, and I think I was one of the very few that actually thought Kelvin Gastelum should have got the decision, but by no means did I think it was a robbery. I think this fight could have went either way. And I truly believe the Kelvin Gastelum win is the best win on his resume, even though Kelvin Gastelum's on a long losing streak right now and fighting outside the top 10. Now, if you move over and you look at Derek Brunson is currently on a 5-fight win streak. And I like to call Derek Brunson the championship keeper because, a lot of people use the term gatekeeper when it comes to Derek Brunson. But if you beat Derek Brunson, chances are you're fighting for a title or you end up being the champion. His only losses are, to Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza. Obviously, there's some other ones, further down. Robert Whittaker, Anderson Silva in a fight that a lot of people thought he won. It was a split decision. No, it was actually a unanimous decision, but a lot of people thought that Derek Brunson beat Anderson Silva. It was an out-of-prime Anderson Silva. Doesn't mean a whole lot. Also has a loss. He has 2 losses to Jacare and then a loss to Israel Adesanya where he was TKO'd. But since that loss to Israel Adesanya in November of 2018, he's gone on a 5-fight win streak. It's not the best winning streak, but he's killed off a lot of contenders. He beat Ian Heinisch via unanimous decision at UFC 241. He beat Edmund Shabazian via TKO August of 2020, and this was a solid win. And I've been on the Blonde Brunson train for a while, but I actually picked against him against Edmund Shabazian. And Edmund Shabazian was this up-and-coming killer. I know he's on a long losing streak now, but he was this up-and-coming killer that the UFC kind of wanted to test against Derek Brunson. And Derek Brunson ate some shots. Eventually, Edmund Shabazian starts to fade. Derek Brunson gets him down and just beats the living crap out of him with ground and pound. And eventually finishes him in the 3rd round. Then he defeats Kevin Holland, just out-wrestles him. I know Kevin Holland doesn't have great wrestling, not the greatest of wins. And then most recently against Darren Till, September of last year. And for me personally, even though I believe in Derek Brunson, this isn't the best win streak. I was never a big believer in Darren Till. I picked Darren Till to lose this fight. I thought that Brunson would be able to out-wrestle him. And Derek Brunson actually looked awful in this fight. Got lit up quite a few times by Darren Till. Eventually dragged him to the ground in the 3rd round and submits him via rear naked choke. It's a decent win, don't get me wrong, but I'm not super high on Darren Till. And one other thing I wanted to mention is I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I haven't watched this fight super recently. When he fought Yoel Romero back in 2014, he was winning that fight and got stopped in the 3rd round. He was out wrestling Yoel Romero in the 1st and 2nd round back in 2014 when Yoel Romero could arguably be closer to his prime. So that just shows the level of wrestling for Derek Brunson. Okay, so if you look at this fight, I think most people kind of understand this is a striker versus grappler matchup. Jared Cannonier wants to come in and strike and defend the takedowns of Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson wants to come in, clinch up with Jared Cannonier, drag him to the ground, and use his ground and pound. And I truly believe Derek Brunson has improved over the years, but his striking is still, awful. It leaves a lot to be desired. It's sloppy. He has KO power, but he rushes forward a lot with, his chin up in the air. Jared Cannonier, both of these guys are up in age. I feel like Jared Cannonier is kind of been the same guy for the last few years. Obviously, probably making subtle improvements, but he's a guy that wants to come out, throw heavy power shots, kick the legs, and just kind of pick you apart and eventually look for the finish. And for me, it's all determined whether Derek Brunson can take Jared Cannonier down and hold him down and land ground and pound. And I don't think that's going to happen. I am going to go with Jared Cannonier via 2nd round TKO. I just think eventually the sloppiness of Derek Brunson's striking is going to catch up with him. He doesn't close distance very well. He has good takedowns. He has good ground and pound. He's able to control some guys on the ground. But Jared Cannonier has shown great takedown defense. He's shown great ability to get up. He showed it in the Jack Hermanson fight. He showed it in the Robert Whittaker fight. Robert Whittaker, I don't believe, took him down, but Robert Whittaker hurt him badly. He ended up on his back, even hurt. He finds his way back to his feet. And even though Derek Brunson has good top game and heavy top pressure, Edmund Shabazian, fresh in the fight, taken down, was able to find his way back to his feet. It wasn't until he was exhausted that he was able to just to be brutalized on the ground. And I just don't think, Derek Brunson may get a takedown here. He may get a takedown. He may get 2 takedowns. He's not going to be able to hold Jared Cannonier down. Jared Cannonier has shown that he has good cardio, went 3 rounds with Robert Whittaker, looked fresh at the end of 3 rounds. And, I just don't think in the past fights with Derek Brunson, the guys have kind of faded, and then Derek Brunson takes over with his wrestling. Jared Cannonier is not going to fade, and he knows what Derek Brunson is coming in and trying to attempt. And Cannonier's going to play it safe early. He's going to, anticipate the takedowns. Derek Brunson shoots very sloppy, closes the distance very sloppy, strikes very sloppy. And Jared Cannonier is well aware of that. I'm sure he's seen the fights. I'm sure he's watched footage. And I think Cannonier is going to pump the jab. He's got a decent jab. He is going to heavily chop Derek Brunson's leg, which is going to further compromise him closing the distance, looking for the takedowns. And I think eventually that chin, him sticking that chin up in the air, as in Derek Brunson, Cannonier is eventually going to catch it with a right hand, drop him, and finish him with brutal ground and pound. He has nasty, pinpoint, accurate ground and pound. And everything Cannonier throws, he's not a guy that throws half power shots. He throws 100% power with every shot. And he's going to sleep Derek Brunson in that second round. I just truly believe Derek Brunson is going to get more frustrated. The takedowns are going to be getting stuffed by Jared Cannonier. He's going to rush in sloppily, and Jared Cannonier is going to catch him with the hands, put him down, and then finish him off with brutal ground and pound. And that's the way the fight's going to go. I really believe that Derek Brunson's time, his win streak, is kind of run out. He's been able to reel off this 5-fight win streak. He's had this career resurgence, but I just don't see him getting it done against Jared Cannonier. And this is a massive spot because the winner of this fight could be fighting for a title. I think Jared Cannonier, if he does finish him in the second round, if it is an impressive win, and Israel Adesanya does defeat Robert Whittaker in the main event, which is a big if, because Israel Adesanya may lose, and then we have the Israel Adesanya-Robert Whittaker trilogy. But if Adesanya does win and Cannonier gets an impressive win, Cannonier is one of the few guys in that top 5 of the middleweight division that has not fought Israel Adesanya yet. And I think this could be a number 1 contender fight. I think Cannonier will be fighting for the title if all those things come to fruition. Derek Brunson, if I had to predict, you told me Derek Brunson wins this fight. How does he win? He's going to have to take Cannonier down and hold him down. I don't see him finishing Cannonier. Cannonier is super durable. He's not like he's getting finished all the time. I think he hasn't been finished. I don't even remember the last time Cannonier's been finished. It's been a while. I think it was at light heavyweight against Dominic Reyes, I believe. It's not like Derek Brunson's going to finish him. It's a 3-round fight. Jared Cannonier has the better gas tank, I believe, than Derek Brunson. And Derek Brunson overall is just too sloppy. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching.